What's going on, guys? It's MariK here, back with another Dragon Ball Super video. This morning they released the Super Rares for the Tournament of Power set, which completely changes pretty much everyone's opinions on most of the archetypes that'll be in this set. Some of these are really, really good cards. Some of them are kind of average, and some of them you can just run in whatever deck you might want. First up, we have the Prince himself, Universe 7 Saiyan Prince Vegeta. He's a 5-cost, 20,000 power. When you play this card from your hand, if your leader card is red, choose up to one of your other Saiyan battle cards in play, which are Universe 7 or Universe 6. Switch them to active mode. Both that card and this card gain 10,000 power and triple strike for the duration of the turn. This card could be really good with the Caulifla leader from the draft box, the Vegeta or the Kale leader from Tournament of Power, the Vegito from set 2, or even the Pan leader from set 3. And a lot of people are splashing the Veggie package in pretty much everything they play because it is a powerful engine. And since you can run it with the Universe 6 engine as well, you could slap this guy in there, splash 2 or 3 of them, combine them with the Veggie package, and the best part about this card is the fact that he actually switches the other card he targets to active mode. So you can swing with one of your other big hitters, like a Kale or one of the Cauliflas, switch it back to active mode, give it a 10,000 boost, swing with it again, and then you've still got Vegeta with triple strike as well. I think he's a really good card. The fact that he's a 5-cost might be a little high. It seems like a lot of games don't really go past maybe turn 4 at the most. Especially with such an aggressive color as red. But who knows, I'm sure a lot of people will try and find a way to make this card playable for sure. Up next, we have everybody's favorite assassin for Seeing Hit. He's actually a 4-cost 20,000, which makes a little more sense to me for his, average power level. He's got double strike, and his auto says when you play this card from your hand, your opponent reveals their hand, so you automatically get to see every card your opponent has. That is pretty crazy in and of itself. Then, you get to choose up to 2 battle cards with 35,000 or less from their hand and send them to the warp. That basically means the only cards that you can't send back would be Ultimate Force Super Saiyan Blue Vegito and the Super Saiyan 4 GT Goku. Everything else is going to be a viable target to send to the warp. And then at the end of your opponent's next turn, return all cards sent to the warp with this skill to their hand. So basically, you neg to them. They can't combo with those cards. They can't play those cards. They can't do anything to affect the outcome of your turn. And then they can't use them against you on their next turn. Pretty devastating, I think, especially the ability to see everything in your opponent's hand. Luckily, it has to be a battle card, so they can't send your negates away. They can't send any of your extra cards away, but they can send your super combos away, and being able to send those away late game is a really, really big deterrent, and it's going to take away either A, their ability to combo out of losing the game, or B, take away their ability to combo into pushing for game on their next turn. Now, for whatever reason, Red got 3 super rares. All the other colors only have 2. Red has 3. I'm not really quite sure why. Maybe they were just playing favoritism towards Universe 6. But we got Relentless Super Saiyan Kale. She's a 5-cost, 25,000 power. You can evolve her for 3 red and 1 other. She has double strike. And when a card evolves into this card, choose all battle cards with 25,000 or less power other than this card or your Caulifla cards and KO them. So if you have an army of Cauliflas, you're not blowing up anything of yours. You're just wiping your opponent's board. Depending on how you play your deck or what you have on the field when you play this card, it could kind of backfire. It could be a little bit of a double-edged sword, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to be dumb enough to play this card when they don't have much worth destroying or where you have more to lose than they do. I still think it's a pretty solid card. You can play her on turn 4, but I don't really think that she's that busted. I think she just kind of gives you a little extra removal without having to worry about destroying your own cards. Well, if they're Caulifla. Rip Kaba. Now, I was a bit disappointed to see that we got a Beerus super rare. Not that I have anything against Beerus, I just think that since he literally did nothing in the Tournament of Power, it should have been a Gohan. But we've got Beerus, Universe 7, Divine Vanquisher. He's a 5-cost, 25,000 power with double strike. And when this card attacks a leader card, your opponent chooses any number of cards from their hand, battle area, or energy area for which the total cost adds up to 6 or more and places them in the drop area. At at first glance, that sounds busted as shit. It's not, but it's still a really good card. So basically, if they have, between their energy and their battle area, if they have 6 or more energy combined, printed on the card, then the effect is going to trigger. The only way this is really not going to happen is if they play him as early as they can, and say you have like 3 energy, they all cost 1, and then you got like a 2-drop battle card, so that's 5. Your hand doesn't count because the way the rules in this game work is your hand is a secret area and your opponent doesn't know what's there. Even if they played that hit super rare and they saw your entire hand, they still technically don't know what you have, even though they really do. So you can just be like, oh, well, I only have 5. So your effect fizzles. If they have 6 on the board, then the only way to prevent any of that stuff from going away is to discard their cards from their hand. So this card is going to be a good late game finisher, but it's really not going to be too devastating as long as you have stuff in your hand to pitch, or, I mean, if you can afford to lose the 1 energy, and you have an energy that already has like a printed cost of 6, say for example, opening hand, you drew too many Miraculous Comeback Ultimate Gohans and you charged 1. Now you have a 6 cost in your energy and you can just be like, oh, well, there's 1 energy gone, I'm fine. I don't think the card is super overpowered, but I do think this is one of the better cards in the Tournament of Power set, especially for the super rares. Personally, I think the best strategy is to just play as you would, because there's no way to effectively play nothing but 1-cost cards for energy, and if your board is clear, you're already losing anyways, so you may as well just play the game as you normally would, and if you can, hold a higher energy card in your hand, that way you can pitch it on the off chance they actually play this Beerus. Otherwise, there's no way to really play around it, and attempting to play around it too much is just going to hurt you in the long run. Up next we have Trio de Dangers Bergamo. He's a 4-cost, 20,000 power with 2 permanents. The first one says, if this card is in rest mode, your opponent's battle cards can only attack this card. So on your turn, you're going to attack with him no matter what happens, and just let him stay in rest mode. Or, I guess you could, if you wanted to be that guy, just not untap him during your untap phase. His other permanent says, when Lavender and Basil are in play in your battle area, all Trio de Dangers in your battle area gain barrier. So he gives all of your furries barrier, similar to Great Ape King Vegeta, although not as effective since you have to have Lavender and Basil on the board. And then when this card is attacked, it gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn, so since you can only attack it, he gains 5,000 every time he's attacked, so you want to try and kill him the first time you swing at him. Up next, we've got the green cards, although we've already gone over them in a previous video. But for those of you who are new here, we'll go ahead and give a quick recap on them again. Son Goku, Hope of Universe 7. He's an 8-cost, 35,000 power. You EX evolve him for 1 energy, and you place 2 Universe 7 from your hand in the drop area. And you evolve him onto a Son Goku Universe 7 with an energy cost of 5 or more. So it's going to have to be the yellow 5-cost from Tournament of Power. He has Triple Strike and Critical, and his auto says, when this card attacks, if your leader card is green, choose up to 1 card from your opponent's hand or up to 1 of their battle cards and place it in the drop area. Since he has triple attack, he can do that 3 times, and that's 3 times he can try and hit you with crit. This card will be devastating if your opponent actually gets him on the board, but all you have to do is make sure they don't keep a Goku on the board and prevent his attacks. That's really the best way to stop him from killing you. Then we got the card I hate most, Maiden Squadron Leader Riberianne. She's a 5-cost, 25,000 power. You can evolve her for 2 green and 1 other, so you can play this card on turn 3, I believe. Although that wouldn't be ideal because you want to have the other 2 Squadron members on your board. She has Barrier, and when a card evolves into this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So Barrier is going to be really important against this archetype in general. And then when this card attacks, if Kakunsa and Rosie are in play on your battle area, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand and place them in the drop area. So, again, field presence is a big deal with this archetype, and you're going to really want to keep them from having both of those battle cards on the board. So I suggest cards like Son Goten Family of Justice or one of the Master Saiyan Overwhelm cards. Then we've got arguably what I think is one of the best cards in the Tournament of Power set, Frieza, Emperor of Universe 7. He's a 7 cost, 30,000 power. You EX evolve him for 1 energy, and you place 1 Universe 7 card from your hand in the drop area to evolve him onto a Frieza 5 or more. And of course, you've got the 5-drop Universe 7 Frieza from this set to evolve him on. He has Triple Strike, and his permanent's what makes him really, really good. If your leader card is yellow, which it's probably going to be the yellow Frieza, your opponent's counter skills and non-keyword auto-activate skills cannot be activated unless they place 1 card from their life in their drop area. 1 card from their hand would have been one thing. 1 card from their life is absolutely insane. So you're going to have to find ways to get around him, either using keyword skills or by just straight running him over. Revenge would be a very good way to get rid of this Frieza, but obviously they're probably not going to attack you when you can revenge them. So, in my opinion, the easiest way to prevent this card from just wrecking your face is to prevent him from ever hitting the field. Anytime you see that Universe 7 5-drop Frieza, KO it. No matter what. Whether you have to put it in rest mode, whether you have to run it over when it's in rest mode, whether you have to blow it up with a card effect, you have to warp it away. Do not let that card stay on the field long enough for them to EX evolve it. The last card is the 10-drop Absolute Justice Jiren, 35,000 power with Quad Strike, the second card ever in this game to get Quad Strike, the first one being 12-drop Whis. His permanent says, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each Universe 11 in your battle area. You must pay the specified cost even if it exceeds the reduced energy cost. So he can never be lower than a 5 cost. But this explains why his ability is to untap Universe 11 cards at the end of the turn. It's to help you keep them alive long enough to get 5 of them on the board to get to 5 energy to play this guy. His auto says, when you play this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and energy in rest mode and place them in the drop area. That's disgusting. The only way to really avoid that outside of just making sure they never keep enough Universe 11 cards on the board is to not let your stuff go in rest mode. And not a lot of cards switch themselves back to active mode, and you sure as hell can't keep your energy in active mode, otherwise you're just not playing anything, in which case you're not going to win. I think this is going to be a really disgusting card to see, but you're never going to see it outside of turn 5. That's going to be the earliest you'll ever see it, and even then it's going to depend on what Universe 11 cards they play, because they're going to have energy to play those cards as well, so maybe even turn 6. But if they get this card out against you, there's no way to stop it outside of Cold Bloodlust. Honestly, I believe Great Apes are the best deck to counter Absolute Justice, just because of the fact that everything untaps itself. When I play Great Apes, I never play more than 4 energy. Half the time, I rarely play more than 3, because once I get Great Ape King Vegeta out, all my combos are going to be free. So I really don't need those energy outside of maybe for like a random Nimbus Cloud or something. Not to mention, all your apes are going to switch back to active mode because of Planet Vegeta. Then, on top of that, Planet Vegeta's never going to be in rest mode because you never tap the card for any reason. So Planet Vegeta's going to stay. Your apes are all going to stay because they're not only not in rest mode, they're also protected by barrier. Since this card says choose, also any Saiyans, any yellow Saiyans you have on your board, whether they're Great Ape or not, are going to be protected by barrier, so Jiren isn't going to touch them either. Whether it be the Explosive Spirit Son Goku, the No Opening Son Goku, or even Gene Family of Justice. I think Great Apes are still going to be one of the best decks around for a good long while, and probably the best hard counter to Universe 11. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for all the super rares for the Tournament of Power set. I don't know that we'll do a video for the secret rares. I think there's supposed to be 2 different secret rares, but unless they are really, really OP, I don't know that I'll do a video just for those 2 cards alone. I might do a little podcast type video with the God Squad, just to discuss them and see how much they might affect the meta or how much they might make certain decks more viable than they already are. But otherwise, that's all we have for this video. If you guys enjoyed, or if you guys agree with me, or you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button for us as well. You know, we appreciate the support. We appreciate all of our subscribers. We're 4 away from 500. I'm super excited about that. You guys have been fantastic with the support, liking the videos, just watching, commenting. I've had a lot of great discussions with you guys, and I have enjoyed doing these videos so much. This game is fantastic. The community is overall fantastic, and just getting to converse with you guys about different decks, different play styles. I've even learned some stuff from some of my viewers as well. So you guys keep that up. We're going to go ahead and get the frig out of here, and we'll see you guys in the next video.